Welcome to Raising Kings, the podcast designed to empower single mothers raising strong, resilient, and emotionally intelligent Black sons. Introducing your host, Jennifer Tolliver, author, counselor, and, most importantly, a single mom who's been walking this journey for over 9 years. She knows firsthand the challenges we face, the doubts, the struggles, the fears. But I also know this, we are not just raising boys, we are raising kings. And with the right guidance, support, and mindset, we can break generational cycles, build unshakable bonds, and set our sons up for greatness. Every week, we'll dive deep into real conversations about parenting, emotional intelligence, education, self-care, and everything in between. Expect raw truths, actionable strategies, and the cultural awareness our community deserves, because nobody understands our challenges like we do. So if you're ready to lead with confidence, transform your parenting, and build a legacy that lasts, you're in the right place. Let's get to work.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Raising Kings podcast. Today, we have a super duper special guest, Veronica White, the founder of Help from a Sister Incorporated. She is an entrepreneur and author who's dedicated to supporting single parents and youth. She's overcame personal hardships and she channels her resilience into community outreach, mentorship, and philanthropy, while balancing a business success, and a master's in accounting. Wow, that's a mouthful. So the talented, educated, and beautiful Veronica White we have on our show today, and I'm so glad that you joined us. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. I mean, I love the concept. We've had a couple of conversations, but that first conversation was very enlightening.
Yes, it was. And so for those who may not know you or may not be familiar with what you do, can you share a little bit about yourself and what led you to start Help from a Sister?
Awesome. Yes. So I am a woman of God, a single parent that raised two positive, productive children. Um, Without the help of their fathers, because everybody in life have choices. So their choice and path took them on a different journey. Mine took me on single parenthood. So it was a struggle, and I understand the struggles that single parents went through because I was once in their shoes. Even though my children are grown now, it still feels like it was yesterday that I'm just trying to juggle school, work, their activities, dealing with their emotional, social, and economic health as well. So those are some of the things that I struggle with. Once they became adults and they graduated college, they're off on their own. I needed to decide what I wanted to do. What was my next journey? I'm not a parent anymore. Well, I'm not raising children. They're off trying to figure out their life. Well, I need to take time to figure out mine. Mm-hmm. And that brought me to our generation that's lacking leadership, mentorship, and guidance. Mm-hmm. So that's where Help from a Sister was birthed. It was my way of saying, I see a need and I need to address it. Do it the proper way. Go start a nonprofit. Go back, share the information, the tools and techniques that I use to transition my life. And hopefully that information, that resource, that help will make the next single parent journey not as hard as mine was.
Wow, that's awesome. And it's so much support that's needed for single mothers, and especially when someone like you who is educated, resourceful, and who understands the journey is actually willing to help, because there's a lot of people that have gone through the similar journey and made it out, and they're like, I don't want nothing to do with that anymore. That's and they're not really willing to give back. So I know I myself appreciated your organization. You guys have monthly meetings for entrepreneurs and various other outreaches and community engagements that you guys have going on. And I think that is so great, and it's rare that it's available so openly, especially for single moms in our
That
community.
is true.
Yeah.
And so we do have an event coming up in May, May 17th. It's our second single parents conference
Okay.
focused on autism. So we want to shed light, which
Wow.
you have graced our presence and said you're going to share your information with
Yes.
you being a single mom with a child that's on the autism spectrum.
Hmm.
We want to have the hard conversations and share the information because I know for me, no is just a stepping stone. You say no, okay, next level. I'm gonna keep going until I get the information.
Right.
I don't know where I got my persistence from,
Hmm.
but I know some single parents, if you're already stressed,
Hmm.
underpaid, underworked, and someone tells you no, it's like, okay, well, let me go work on something else that I can do where I can hear a yes.
Right.
So I understand that. So my thing is, I want to help provide the information because you can get 10 no's, but that 11 person is going to say yes.
Hmm.
And now your child or your family can be in a better position. But you took the first two, three no's and you stopped. So
Right.
I'm here to share and provide the resource to say, yeah, the first two, they probably had a bad day. They didn't want to do it. Let's keep going to somebody that's willing to give us the information because
Okay.
we need it for our children. Like they need the resources. We need to be a proper advocate for them. And that's where Help from a Sister in the Single Parents Conference. We want to have those conversations, share your story, your journey, share my story, share another young lady story about where they are. Just I'm gonna say we're regular parents just doing it, trying to figure it out. But okay, let's just help the other people who are not that persistent, who don't know what to do or who to turn to because they
Right.
feel like everywhere they turn, they getting told no.
Right.
So
So you're basically saying and teaching people
that's
that no is not a stopping point. It shouldn't. Like we've all been taught that no means no. Like it's actually a saying that we grew up with, but in actuality, no means go find another option. So it doesn't mean to stop in your tracks. It
exactly
means keep going until you find a yes. So I think that's very important and needed. So because with the mentality that we've grown up with and been told, when somebody says no, it's like, oh, okay. You know, even growing up doing telemarketing jobs, back in the day when they tell you got to do rebuttals and keep, if the person says no, you're supposed to, keep asking and keep going and keep trying to make that sale. So I think that's an important process because a lot of us are either too timid to do it or have a mental block where somebody tells us no and that's just it, and there's so much more out there. So I'm so glad you brought that up. And
that is
okay, so, yep, yep.
no, go
And
ahead.
so, what's one lesson from your journey that you wish more single mothers knew earlier? So something that you may have learned or that stuck out that you can help people that are going through what you went through right now, or what you went through while you were raising your kids.
Self-love and um, healthy conversations with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I wish in my 20s I would have appreciated and loved me more.
Right. Yeah.
So if I can, one message I can pass on would be love yourself. Your self-talk is very important. The
Mm-hmm.
way you talk to and treat your best friend, turn that around because looking in the mirror, you're your best friend.
Yeah.
Give that same consideration, love, passion to yourself that you would give to another person.
Right.
Give yourself grace and mercy. It's okay to get it wrong. Nobody is perfect. So we all make mistakes and give
Mm-hmm.
yourself grace and know that it's okay. Yeah, I went I went left. I should have went right. That's fine. Now I can go back.
Yep. That's true. That's exactly right. Same thing with me. My kid, well, my oldest son is 17 now, and my youngest is 9. So through that journey, I definitely wish I would have had more self love. And because, as a mom, you kind of project the love out. You don't really save anything for yourself. You think that all you need to do is, just love everybody else. And you're just thinking about what you have to do and who you have to do it for. So I definitely wish I would have implemented more self love so that it could have been probably a better experience for me and the kids if I had more to pour from in raising them. So that's definitely a great point.
Yeah, that's true.
hmm So, um, how can single moms start building like a strong support system? A lot of times we feel like we don't have anybody to turn to in our families. Sometimes as a single mom, you kind of overwork your community as far as your family and the people who are immediately around you. Like I know my kids' grandparents, my parents helped me a lot as a single mom, but I know I sometimes feel that guilt like, okay, I'm asking them to do too much. It's not their job, it's not their responsibility. The same thing with bringing in family member mentors for my sons. It's kind of like, okay, that's their uncle, that's their grandpa. Um, but I don't want to overwork that situation. I don't want them to end up resenting me because they feel like, well, they have to take care of a child I had, and things of that nature. So, how do you suggest that single moms can go about finding a community that will be there specifically for them?
That is a great question. But I'm going because I'm a grandmother now. I'm
Yeah.
going to speak from experience that I'm gonna speak from me because some grandparents feel a little differently. I love spending time with my grandchildren,
hmm
mentoring them, and however I can help make their journey a little easier, I'm
Yeah.
willing to put in the work now. So when
Right.
they get older, because I understand that there is a progress, it's a stepping stone with them as well. At a
hmm
certain age, they want all your time and attention. As they get older, they need less and less time.
Right.
And something I heard as well, kids look for validation from the same sex person. So if it's a man, he loves his mom, he loves his grandmother, but he will want to spend more time with his granddad or his uncle
hmm
because he can identify with them because he's a male.
Right.
For young ladies, again, they look up to their mom, their aunties.
hmm
So when it comes to fine. I mean, if the person in the family is open to it and they want to spend time with the child, I would say for you, it's not a burden. Just ask, hey, if you're available and you want to spend time, my son would love to go out with you or to come help you around the house.
hmm
So don't feel bad because it takes a community
Yeah.
and a village.
Yes.
So when my children were younger, my mom was always there. My dad helped out. My communities wind up being their youth football and cheerleading program.
Okay.
Down Bears. That was a community of people helping people.
hmm
As far as the coaches, the team moms, we had a program. It was about 600 kids, 100 cheerleaders, 500 football players. And I'm not saying all of them. So you do have to vet the people you have in your child circle,
hmm
spend time with them in different environments, kind of observe how they're treating women and men.
Right.
But for my son, I think he was in first grade and he didn't know my phone number.
Mm.
His coach told him he got 2 days to learn my phone number.
Right. hmm
I've been trying to teach him since he was in kindergarten.
Right.
A year and a half. In 2 days, I got to keep writing your number. My coach said I need this.
Wow.
And depends on which coaches it was. Like that coach, Coach Dwayne,
hmm
he was best football coach. Dwayne also played baseball. So even though my son wasn't on his baseball team, he would still take him when he took his team to practice because his baseball team didn't do extra practicing. So he was instrumental. Being at the park all day because My daughter was average size. My son was a little heavier. So even though they're 2 years apart, she was on the Pee Wee team, which is like morning. They have practice and games. My
Hmm.
son is afternoon, 6, 7 o'clock. He have his games. We'll be at the park all day. Now, mind you, I'm still in school, so me helping out with the youth program, I got to know some other parents, and they was like, okay, well, if you have class or you have a study group on Saturdays, let us know. Bring the kids here. All the kids be out there playing all day. We're gonna watch them. They need something to eat. They'll go to the concession stand. You'll just take care of it when you get back.
Wow.
Some of those relationships, 20 plus years, I'm still friends with them, and I would. So I didn't never do too many boy sleepovers because boys are a little rough.
Yeah.
I would get all the girls. They can come to my house Friday. I'll get up Saturday. They eat breakfast, take them to the park because I knew Saturday I had to go to class. I had a study group.
Hmm.
They'll be at the park all day. And then some of them will come back Saturday night and then I'll drop them back off. Well, because we had games on Saturdays and Sundays. I mean, we had to go back to the park on Sunday.
Hmm.
So I would say communities like that, a youth football and cheerleading. Um, Baseball, I know baseball had the same community. And once your kids get an activity, depends on which one you choose, they the kids go from one sport to the next. So you're gonna see some of the same parents. And some of the parents help out as well.
Right.
So that's another community. But no, if don't feel bad if your mom, your dad is helping out and you're asking them because they love and want to spend time with your kids as well.
Yeah. That's a great point that you mentioned that you actually have to be outside to meet people to find a community because in my situation it's a little more difficult as you probably understand having a kid with autism. It's like certain places it's like no, I'm not I'm not even going to put myself through that. um, so it's a little more difficult, but I've never had a community outside of my family to help me out, and that's because I never go outside. Like I don't put myself in the position to even meet people that would be of help. So when I came across help from a sister, I was actually like, what? Like this is crazy. Like I was amazed at how welcoming everybody was. Like I went to the entrepreneurial meeting and it was just like a really good vibe. Everybody there was really welcoming, and I haven't experienced that because I haven't expanded my horizons as a mother of a child with autism. Like you have to push yourself past um, your own boundaries that you've made for yourself. The okay, people are gonna say this about my son, or they're gonna stare at me, or I have my oldest son who's in sports. He's always been in sports, but I would have, my dad take him to wrestling practice, or I would just drop him off and I would stay back because of, my son. But had I been there and, stepped out of my comfort zone, I probably would have had some help. I probably would have been able to experience, parents who are willing to help, um, and that are in some of the same situations. So that's a really good point that you have to utilize. I guess it's the natural resources that God puts in your path because you have your kid and you're going to practice. God is going to make a way um, so that other parents and like-minded individuals will come around and you find your tribe and some people that you can help and they can help you. And so yeah, that's very important. So utilize all the coaches and like you said, definitely vet the people, but don't be like me and be so afraid of everybody that you you're stuck in the house and you don't have anybody to support and help you. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. And help from a sister is awesome, guys. If you haven't, it's scrolling on the bottom. It's helpfromasister.org. We're gonna go over this at the end and our outro, but it's just very important that you lock in with Sister Victoria here, and it's at Help from a Sister right on your IG.
Yes, it is. That is
Okay,
so true.
okay, good. All right, so got a couple more questions.
Oh yeah, no worries. Go ahead. But you know what? Let me just piggyback on something you just said, which is key.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say in my 20s and early 30s, I was leery of people as well because you don't know what people's intentions are.
Right.
So even though I would let my son, go with the coaches and hang out with them,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't allowed as a child to go spend the night at other people's houses.
Same.
But I can bring people can come to my house.
Right.
So with my children, I did the same thing.
Yeah.
Like the girls can come over and spend a night. My son can spend a night with the other boys at the coaches' houses. If
Right.
they went somewhere, hey, I'm gonna drop you off. If I can't, you can go with the coach, but I'm coming to get you. You're not staying all night.
Mm-hmm.
So that is our natural intuition. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing I would tell a person. Trust your intuition. You're feeling and thinking that way for a reason. You
Mm.
don't have to express it to everyone, but you do have to take heed and know that that's your intuition and it's telling you something.
Right. Definitely.
So that's one side of it. The flip side is everybody's going to have something to say. Everybody's going to talk. They talked about Jesus, right?
Yeah.
So it's okay if they talk about you, if they look at you, because I'm seeing now, speaking from a grandmother who has a 4-year-old on the autism spectrum, I kind of don't limit the things we do or the places we go. And he's had tantrums like where he fell out on the floor.
Right.
Then I have to check myself and say, wait a minute, when was the last time this boy ate? And
Right.
even if I just got him, I'm like, you know what, he might be hungry. Because now I'm learning when he's acting out doing certain things, this
Mm-hmm.
is his way of expressing like, hey, I'm hungry.
Right.
He don't know how to tell me, so he falls out. He started hitting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking like we're in the trampoline place. I can't
Right.
remember, Urban Air or something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
he's falling out having a fit, but I had just picked him up. So okay, this baby haven't had nothing to eat. We have to go get some pizza and something to drink.
Mm-hmm.
Or my grandson would go on the table and grab somebody else's food.
Right. Yep.
To be mindful and watch that too, to say, no, Dayan, come on, let's get in line. We have to wait in line and get ours.
Yeah.
So it's a learning process. And yeah, people gonna look at you and say what they want to say, but they don't got nothing to do with us. We trying to figure this out.
Right. And I
So
will take that to heart because I actually really need to hear that because I know that me being worried about my son throwing a tantrum or trying to grab because he likes to steal stuff. So he takes like wherever we are, like you gotta pat him down. It's like, no, why would you? Because he wants it and he doesn't understand that, you know, or maybe he does, I don't know. But I just worry about certain things when I go out with him. So but now that you're saying that, it's like I'm realizing that I'm hindering him because of my own um, fear, irrational fear of what people may or may not say or think about me. So that's very important. Yeah, a side note, even though it's a big side note about having kids with autism, like you can't hinder them or keep them from being social or being in social settings because for one, it can help them. You can't like if you're sheltering them all the time. I mean, imagine like you said, us coming from sheltered homes, households where we couldn't really go out. People had to come to us. But on top of that, like I'm not even taking him to the store. Like, so it's like how much more anxiety um, am I compiling onto his already overworked sensory system by keeping him enclosed and not introducing him and exposing him to more things? So, yeah, that's an excellent point. So now I got to go home and take him. We're going to Walmart or something. I'm just going to just whatever, you know. We can make it happen, but I really appreciate that. That's good.
oh yeah, and then I gotta invite you all over because I have the 4-year-old that's nonverbal, but then I also have the 8-year-old who's very good and he plays with everybody. So y'all
Right.
gotta come over so he can jump on the trampoline and let's do play dates and see how they interact. And
Yeah,
we walk to the park. It's not too far, so
Awesome. Yes. Help from a sister. I appreciate that. Okay, so in your work with a lot of single moms, are there any common struggles that the single moms have faced that you work with, and how can your organization support those common situations? I know there's a lot of moms that also have the same difficulties. So how can you help them with help from a sister?
Okay, so finances, resources, techniques. So when it comes to finances, it's a lot of different things. It's credit. It's finding something because now you only have one income and you're
Right.
trying to make it work. And that
Yeah.
income, once the IRS and the state take all their money, it's a little, right? And then it's you make enough to make ends meet, but
Mm,
not enough to support your family correctly.
right.
And then you don't qualify for a lot of stuff too. They start phasing it out.
Yeah.
So how can we help? We provide what ask questions, and that's why we do the monthly networking meeting to say, hey, if you want to manage your time and figure out another way to supplement your income, what is your passion? What do you enjoy doing?
Right.
If it's podcast, let us provide the tools and the techniques to teach you podcasting. You don't need a lot for that. Whatever the resources that I'm providing and the guidance is nothing that happened overnight. Like you're
Right.
not going to get rich quick,
Right.
but you can take the skill and build over it over years. So therefore, in a minute, you will start generating income from it.
Hmm.
That if you say, hey, well, I live in an apartment and I actually want to buy my own house. Like I want a house, I want to buy a building. So therefore I can collect rent. That'll be a supplemental income.
Right.
Well, yeah, I'm into real estate as well. So I understand how to walk you through the process. Let's work on your credit. Let's start saving money. Let's work on budgeting. Like these are some of the tools, techniques, and resources that will help single parents. I can provide that.
Right.
The discipline has to come from the single parent and the willingness to know that you have to start telling yourself some things no. Pretty much tell yourself no. You know, we don't like to hear the word no.
Hmm.
Under different circumstances, it means different things, right?
Yeah.
No can mean not right now.
Right.
I cannot go and get my hair done or my nails done right now. Matter of
Oh,
fact,
come
I
on,
try,
Sister B.
but because I have a goal, my goal is
No,
to say,
I get it.
so I can get me a house or
Yes.
get a car.
Yes.
So I'm not saying no to deprive yourself. No, I'm gonna need to figure out how can I make my ponytail work or do something to put money to the side because I have goals I'm trying to reach.
Exactly.
And then once I reach that goal, now it's not me working to pay to get my hair done. No, this extra income is now getting my hair done. And it
Right.
might be able to take my kids on a vacation.
Right.
But it's saying, hey, what are some things that you do that you enjoy doing that we can take it and turn it to make to have you get additional income from it?
Right. That's
That's
really awesome.
great.
Yeah, and with your master's in accounting, I can imagine that you're really getting down on these moms and making sure that they stick to the budget. So I'm gonna need to see you to see how I can do my own budget plan. Because like I do understand what you're saying because it comes down to certain things like okay I can't get my hair done. Let me get on TikTok and figure out how to do it myself. Just to save some money, and you can still look the part and nobody will know. So it's like
Okay.
things like that, but nobody is telling us that. Like you go on the social media and you see the exact opposite of budgeting and saving. So it's like if you can bring that in and at least balance the information you're receiving out, you have a choice. You have something to draw off on, not just well these people have this, they got that. I'm seeing this, I need this, I got to do this. But then, because if you never hear anything opposite, then you really don't have anything. That's just you're gonna be stressed out. You're just stressed because you're just trying to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak. but you haven't heard anything about budgeting your money. You haven't learned any financial literacy. You got all these new technologies and cryptos coming in, and you done gave up at this point. So, so it's like, yeah, that's very important and needed in our community. So that's great.
That is true. And then I love Dave Ramsey saying, which I still use it to this day.
Mm-hmm.
It's live like no one else.
Hmm.
So that you can live like no one else. So that's an easy way for me to tell me no. Like if I want to say, okay, so when my kids were younger, for us to go out of town, we would have to not eat restaurant food for 6 months.
Okay.
And I would tell them, hey, we live like no one else. And they like, okay. I said, so if we don't go out to the restaurant for 6 months, we're saving the money. That money is going to go pay for our vacation. We're going to eat out breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day while we're out of town.
Right.
But that's what we have to do. We have to live like no one else. That's sacrificing. So therefore, we get to live like no one else, and we go to we used to go on very nice vacation, but I included them. So that's another thing I need to let parents know.
Yeah.
Include your children in your budgeting process
Mm-hmm.
because they need to know for when they get older that we just can't get everything we see. It ain't for us. Some things we have to say no, and we have to wait for.
Right.
And if we still want it after the wait and we've saved up for it, we're supposed to get it. We're supposed to enjoy it because I sacrificed. I didn't get it on the urge. I sacrificed, I planned, and I strategized for me to have this. So now I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to appreciate it more, and I'm going to take care of it.
Yes, that's very important because even my son, because I just a few years ago started trying to teach him some financial literacy things and budgeting, and he even he holds me accountable. He'll be like, "Mom, didn't you just DoorDash last night?" And you gonna do? I'm like, and it's like, you know what? You're right. Let me not. My ego want to be like, boy, go sit down. But you know what? You're right. You're absolutely right, and I'm glad it's working. So we're going to put the pizza in the oven, and we'll chill out. That's super important.
That is so true. Yes.
Yeah. And so that's kind of one of the things that a lot of us haven't learned growing up in our households. So a lot of moms, our single moms, we're trying to raise our kids differently than how we were raised. How can sisterhood in general play a role in kind of breaking those generational cycles of how we grew up?
I'm still working on that as well.
Yeah, me too.
But I'm going to say, take the good parts of the things that you learn as a parent and alter some things and then change some things up because now we are in a different time. Technology is at everybody's fingertips. 3 and 4-year-olds getting an iPhone and an iPad, and they're being exposed to a lot of different information.
Right.
And they're seeing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So we want to limit their exposure to technology. And that can be challenging at times. But we have to give them alternative. Let's go outside and take a walk. Let's go to the park.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're not going to have an iPad. And I'm still working on this one myself. We cannot have the iPads at the dinner table. Mm-hmm. Let's have a conversation. I need you to be able to look at me and talk to me and not always focus on what's on your phone because you're missing everything around you.
Yep.
But it's just us coming together, having conversations and sharing tools and techniques that, hey, this is what I did. The stuff I did to my children, I can't do to my grandson. Now, I'm not as lenient as I was with my children. Now, I saw them, it's like, okay, no, my grandson, he know I don't play. So with him, I don't have to raise my voice in public. I'm just going to count.
Right.
When I get to 1, he's going to feel me.
Yeah.
So when I get to 2, he's changing some things up.
Right.
What I got to do, we make that eye contact, and then I do my count. Or I might count out loud so he can hear. but he gets in line. My 4-year-old, that don't work.
Right.
We haven't figured that out yet.
Mm,
So we're still working on how we're communicating.
right.
And he's 4, so hey, we got a journey.
Yep. And I think just discussing it and actually wanting to change some of the things that we don't like that was going on when we were coming up is the start. It's like a good start. Just knowing that, okay, maybe this isn't the best idea or this isn't the best method. That's the start of the conversation. And even wanting to help and do better as a parent, as a mom is, I think you're already an awesome mom as it is, because a lot of people just don't care. And for various reasons, that's not an easy thing. This is like, I tell a lot of moms that it's extra, like the job is extra. It's hard work. Like, because, and it seems so hard because nobody talks about just normal motherhood anymore. Like when you were saying, no phones or tablets at the dinner table, or hey, let's go out and take a walk. Those things almost are starting to sound foreign. So it's like keeping wanted to do different and keeping your advocating change and doing the things you're doing is totally awesome. It's going to start the ripple that's going to cause the wave that's going to help our next generation, because as single mothers, we're in a unique position to actually take the reins and change the next generation of men and women that will be here for us if we can keep from being distracted from by all the distractions, and at least and listening to Sister Victoria from Help from a Sister, because those tips, even the counting and the making the eye contact, a lot of parents don't even know that. Like all they know is screaming and yelling and just being physical, but just checking our own self first and taking our own emotion out of it and having the tools, like you said, you can make eye contact and count. I mean, this doesn't, it's not going to happen overnight, but you communicate with your kids and you check your own emotions and make sure that you're under control so that you can then um, try to control what they're doing. Because if you're not in control of your own emotions, like how can you? They're gonna feed off of that. You in there screaming and upset, and not like this is a kid. Like they got you that that tight to where you done lost your whole mind. So yeah, just knowing the different tools that you can use is important because we don't really see that anymore.
That is so true. No, I agree.
Mm-hmm. We don't see many strategies, so that's good. All right, so we're gonna kind of try to wrap it up a little bit. This has been an awesome conversation, and I want to ask you in closing. So, what's a message that you want to leave every single mom with today?
You are enough. You're doing an amazing job. There is no outline. We're all just trying to figure it out. Don't be so hard on yourself. Like, know that you're not alone. It might feel, please know, plenty nights I felt like I'm doing this by myself. I did not sign up for this. Like, all the negative things creep in. Focus on positive, inspiration, and uplifting things. So, if we can change the way we're processing things with us, all that negative stuff, it comes in, and limit the time you meditate on it, because that's the distraction.
Mm-hmm.
The positive, uplifting, encouraging things, that's what sounds foreign. And it's like, yeah, no, I don't got this right. My child not gonna turn out right, or I'm messing this up. It's not about you. We're doing the best we can with what we have. So now let's get around some other people that's doing positive, inspirational, and uplifting things, and let's network with those type of people. And let's kind of broaden our circle just a little to let them help in, so we don't feel so alone. Like, okay, last topic I'm gonna say. So I
No.
had a couple of friends from the youth football and cheerleading program. We
Okay.
used to get together once a month to just go and have a conversation. Um, Check in. Hey, how you doing? What's going on in your personal life? How's your business? Like, just to do a check in. Get some women that y'all not gossiping. You
Mm-hmm.
are inspiring, uplifting, and encouraging each other, but y'all having healthy conversation. Even if you can't come to our networking meeting, get some other people and start having healthy conversations. Talk
Right.
about, hey, this is what I'm working on with my children. Well, what are you doing? Like, let's share that information so it don't feel like we're isolated. We're in this by ourselves because we're not.
Right.
There's so many more of us than we know.
Yes.
But that's my 2 cents.
I felt that. I took that to heart. So that was for me personally. You guys can take it how you want. And all right. So where can our listeners find you? Like, where can we connect with you and help from a sister?
Okay, so on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, it's Help from a Sister.
Okay.
We have our website is www.helpfromasister.org. We have monthly networking meetings the third Friday of every month from 7 to 9 in person at our office in Calumet City. It's 605 Sibley Boulevard in Calumet City. We also have Zoom, where if you can't come in person and you want to just, let me hear what they're talking about,
Mhm.
you can, there's a link for you to link, do Zoom
Mhm.
and hear the information that we're talking about. We
Okay.
also have a single parents conference coming up. It's May 17th. It's
Okay.
at the Discovery on 86 in Cottage Grove, where we're going to provide tools, techniques, and resources for single parents that have a child on the autism spectrum.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yes, that's our focus, and we want to help.
And that's on the 17th.
Yes, that's a Saturday.
Okay. And then what's the location? I'm just gonna put a little note on the bottom of the screen.
Okay, I want to say it's 8650. Give me a second. I'm gonna pull it
Nope.
up. Oh, my eyesight is not what it used to be.
I know how it is. But yeah, it's really good to. There's not many resources. There's a lot of resources for autistic the kids, but not many for the well-being of the parents. So
That is
definitely good. Mm-hmm.
so. It's 8560 South Cottage Grove Avenue,
So,
Chicago, Illinois 60619. So the tickets are $15, but if there's a single parent who say, "Hey, I want to come and I don't have the $15,"
mhm.
don't worry about it. Just come. I want to provide the information. That's
Okay.
what the nonprofit is. We'll figure out the finances later.
Right.
It's just let's connect and share information and help.
Okay. And then if they do need more information on this event, can they find it on your website or should they send you an email?
It's on
Um,
the website. Yes, they
oh,
should. They can find it on the website, or I can give you my email as well. They can send me an email.
okay, sure. Let me put your email on here. What's your email address?
It's SISV, SISV
Mm-hmm.
at helpfromasister.com.
All right. Let's put that there. All right.
Yes, that is correct. Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed the conversation.
Thank
And
you.
I'm welcome to come back. Like whenever if you want me to come back, I'll be more than glad to.
Yes, and whatever you guys need as well. I really appreciate you coming and being here and sharing all of your insight from all of your experiences and your education. You're such an awesome person with great energy. And you guys, if you can, go to the entrepreneurs meeting. It's a group of really great people. Everybody gets to share what they're doing and how they're helping everybody. So, yes, great. Check out the website. Follow on Instagram at Help from a Sister. So that's good. You got everything streamlined. It's Help from a Sister and it stands out because we don't get that nowadays. I wasn't really prepared, but I wasn't used to having help from a sister because it's so rare these days. But Thank you so much for coming on, and I really appreciate you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. You have a great day. Bye, everybody.